my name is Hazuki. I'm an inline figure skater and a figure skater, and everything looks different, but that's okay, because we are in Toronto. Yep. That's it. I feel like I say this every other video, but long time no see. Whoopsies. That is, like, entirely my fault. I'm so sorry. Life happens. Yep. As the seasons change and all the ice melts, a lot of us are going back onto pavement. And we get to start the tough process of acclimating ourselves back onto pavement, which is not easy. It's actually really hard. I'm sure many of you have started moving back onto inlines, and unfortunately that process is a little bit tough sometimes, especially when you're just starting out. So here's a list of stuff that you need to consider before getting back onto the pavement. And I'm gonna start out by saying this. Inline skating tends to be tougher than ice skating, which means that you gotta be prepared for the fact that the next day you're gonna be in pain. Don't choose a day where the next day you have to do some kind of hard physical task or, need to have good functioning legs. Just be prepared mentally and physically for the fact that the next day your legs are gonna hurt as if you've done a leg day. You're not used to pavement anymore, so it's gonna be a little bit tough getting back onto wheels. Just be prepared for that. Before you leave, maybe the night before, make sure that you check all of your hardware. So that's wheels, your wheel bearings, your toe stops. Make sure that your skates aren't too scuffed. Make sure that your laces are intact. Make sure that your frame is actually screwed onto your boot properly. Just do all of the physical checks to make sure that your skates aren't gonna fall apart as you are on the pavement the next day. Not that they tend to do that, it's just better safe than sorry. Make sure your wheels spin freely, make sure the bearings aren't too dusty, make sure your toe stops haven't just completely fallen apart. I'm not sure about y'all, but I tend to forget the state of my skates after not touching them for a few months. So it's good just to check over the night before and make sure that everything's good. Make sure that your bag has all your essentials. You've probably forgotten the things that you need specifically for inline skating. Things like Allen keys are incredibly important, and it's kind of terrible when you go the first day skating and kind of forget them. Is this from experience? Maybe. Don't forget your water and your snacks and your towel and any wrist or elbow or knee guards. Some of those things you might also take with you to ice skating, but especially guards, make sure you have them in your bag because you don't want to be left on pavement without them and need them. I have a scar on my knee from last July that, still there. Wish I had guards that day. I didn't. I regret it. If you were particularly sweaty the last summer, which is a great way to start a sentence, you might want to consider washing some of your guards. Some guards have fabric outsides that you can take off from the plastic and you can just hand wash them. Make sure your equipment is nice and clean and, not gross. This is basic housekeeping stuff, to be quite honest. Yeah, you don't want to take gross, sweaty guards with you to your first time skating. It just kind of sours the mood. If you're someone who likes to do drills with outlines, bring some chalk with you as well. And then finally, this is really important, manage your expectations. Personally, when I got back on my wheels this year, I was hoping to be able to do a lot more stuff than I managed to do. And it's kind of upsetting when you can't do everything that you hope to be able to do, so just know that, you haven't done this in X amount of months. It's a little bit tough, it's different from ice skating, and it's okay that you can't do everything yet. You're gonna get it back eventually, don't worry, but make sure you manage your expectations. Finally, if you can, try to splurge and get onto some good pavement. I know for a lot of folks it's kind of tough to find nice, smooth, uncracked, ungraveled pavement, but if you can, try to pull out some stops and get some nice pavement. It'll feel a little bit more similar to ice skating and it'll help the transition a little bit. I had to take the subway down to a different park so that I could actually get some nice, smooth pavement, so that I could kind of help my body get a little bit more acclimated to the slightly rougher terrain of inline skating. Again, you're used to incredibly smooth ice, and switching from that to rough pavement's a little bit hard, so if you can manage that transition a little bit better, it tends to be really helpful. So now you've made it to the rink, finally got there, got your skates on, and now it's time to get going. We hate to hear it, but you're gonna want to start with some stretches. Make sure that your body's nice and warmed up. These are movements that your body's not used to anymore, so you want to make sure that everything's nice and warm and that you're not gonna hurt anything. Take it nice and slow, please. Again, this is from experience. A couple days ago, I was having a really hard time because it was really hard to go up and down stairs. I might have pushed myself a little bit too much. Don't do that. Start with some nice stretches and off ice if you want to do jumps later on, because again, your body's not used to this anymore. This is entirely from experience. I'm telling you, do stretches, you're not gonna regret it later. And I know we hate to hear it, but you're gonna want to start with drills and edges. I have a kind of crappy video on that. You don't have to click it. You want to start off with warming up your edges. Edges are the foundation to literally everything in skating. Work on some drills, some crossovers, some swizzles, and some slaloms, and some other S-sounding stuffs. If that's a little bit too easy for you, you could also start doing some edge-based skills, such as eagles. Eagles are really nice because it helps open up the hip a little bit. And just start warming up your feet. That sounds really weird. Start warming up those edges and make sure that you're really comfortable in your skates and that you feel safe and centered and balanced on them. It's entirely fair just to do laps of the court for like 20 minutes, just to get back into the swing of being on inlines. Again, you have to push harder, your edges aren't as easy and clean, you have to worry about pebbles and stuff on the ice, on the pavement. There's a lot of things that your body's not used to anymore, so you just really want to take it slow and slowly warm it up. Now, I know for some advanced people, you're gonna be like, oh, doing figure eights on ice for like 20 minutes, that sounds awful. Not gonna lie, totally in the same boat as you. Now, if you're feeling really confident in your skates and you're like, yes, I frickety-frackety got this, then what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna start wanting to test everything that you could do last season on your inlines. Again, work up from something small, so start with your edges and then maybe some 2-foot and 1-foot spins, moving on to some easy entries into spins, maybe some single or simple jumps. But if you're feeling up to it, then test everything you can. One of the things that I find really kind of weird but great about switching between seasons is that usually I'll find something that I've gotten better at because I've used the other one for several months now. So for this season, moving it back onto inlines, for some reason my sit spins have gotten better. Just like slightly, but I can feel that they've gotten better, which is really weird. Frankly, I'm terrible at sit spins on inlines. So if you're feeling up to it, just test everything and see if you've improved on some stuff, because you might have. And finally, this is a reminder to folks like me who are a little bit overachievy and a little bit hard on yourself. You don't have to force yourself to stay there the entire time. Usually I tend to chunk out like an hour or an hour and a half for skating. If you're tired at the 30-minute mark, you don't have to stay there. Why is this a reminder that I have to tell myself? I don't know. But it is a reminder that I need. If you're feeling really tired, but you still kind of want to skate, it's also totally acceptable to just kind of do figure eights for like 20 minutes on ice while listening to the same song on repeat. It's helping you acclimate to crossing your legs over again and stuff like that. It's good. But don't force yourself to stay for too long. Don't push yourself too hard. It's hard to transition, so take it slowly, give yourself some breaks, give yourself some deep breaths. It's gonna be okay. Take it slow, please. Otherwise you're gonna hurt yourself, and then you're not gonna be able to skate for the season, and that's worse. Finally, when you're done skating, you want to do some cool down stretches, and then when you get home, try to roll out or stretch out your muscles. I know that can be kind of annoying sometimes. Put on a good TV show, I guess. Make sure you're eating some good food afterwards and getting back your energy. You really don't want the start of your transition or your season to be rough and painful. Again, this is from experience. My legs are still a little bit in pain and it's been like 3 or 4 days. Roll out your muscles, make sure that you're taking care of yourself, take it slow. I've said that so many times in the video, I'm so sorry. I'm like a broken record, it's fine. Ice and pavement, especially when you're going from smooth ice to rough pavement, can be really hard, so take it easy on yourself. It's incredibly cheesy, but also you really need to give yourself those breaks so that you don't hurt yourself. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. My notes didn't have a good outro, and I forget how to do outros. Let me know of anything I missed or your transition routines down below, and I'll see you guys hopefully soonish, maybe. I don't know, it depends. Thanks so much for sticking with me for such long hiatuses. Sadly, multiple of them. I love you all so very much. Thanks so much for watching this. Again, sorry for not posting for like 6 months. Whoops. Okay, anyways, I'll see you guys. Bye!